Happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Goodies Grade 8. There was no football game this week, unless you count the Pro Bowl, but we still have lots of great topics to get to, so let's get right into it. First off, college basketball. It was a big week in college basketball. We had a lot of rivalry matchups going on with Tobacco Road and Tennessee versus Kentucky. But first, I'm going to start with Wisconsin. Shout out to my man Big Cat, who his team got ranked number 5 in the country just to go and lose 2 games, a heartbreaker at Nebraska and then losing to Purdue because Zach Edey is the unstoppable force. But I'm not sure you can trust Purdue when it comes to the NCAA March Madness bracket, but we will see. Also, it was the week of big explosions from the Northwestern coach who had an all-time ejection where he got ejected in the game when they were down 5 and they didn't call a foul on a layup, shakes the coach's hand, dabs up Zach Edey after the game, then pumps up the crowd on the way out. An all-time move by the Northwestern coach. We also had some crazy moments in the New Mexico State game where a New Mexico State player just threw a massive uppercut right into an opposing player and knocked the guy out. Of course, he got ejected from the game and probably suspended for a few more. Unfortunately, I only keep up so much on my New Mexico State Aggie basketball, so I'm not sure what the suspension looked like. Also, you had an all-time distraction in the Oakland basketball game. Didn't know if you were paying attention to the Oakland basketball game, but here it was. There were fans in the student section shaving their heads to try and distract the opposing players from making free throws, and Oakland was winning by 15 when the clip came out, so I'd have to say it was a good matchup, or a good decision. For the big matchups, Tennessee versus Kentucky. Tennessee looked amazing again. Their best player continues to show off. They continue to show that they are a team to beat, and I'm not sure this could be another great ending for Calipari this year. And then Tobacco Road, Duke could not hang with UNC. They've looked like the better team all year. At the end of the game was talking about how the ACC runs through UNC. They did lose to Georgia Tech earlier in the week on probably a look-ahead game, but they took care of the Tobacco Road rivalry. In other news, going to the NFL for a quick second, Patrick Mahomes Sr., 3rd DUI. Maybe this means he's trying to get Patrick Mahomes his 3rd Super Bowl. I hope these things have to correlate because I think Mahomes is going to have a few more Super Bowls, and Mahomes Sr. needs to stop getting DUIs. He can be sentenced 2 to 6 years in prison possibly. We'll see if any of the coin that they have can help bail him out. This is eerily similar to when Andy Reid's son actually had someone injured in a drunk driving incident in the past right before a playoff game. That was unfortunate. He's in jail. The victim is, of course, okay, which is good, but they lost that playoffs to the Bengals. Does this a sign that maybe Mahomes is not going to be able to beat the Niners due to something his dad had? And I just feel bad for Patrick. Seems like a great guy and always has off-the-field problems with his family. In the best All-Star game of the weekend, we had the NHL All-Star weekend, a great weekend. Friday night, the skills competition. The winner gets $1 million. That's Connor McDavid of the Edmonton Oilers, a great player. I love the idea of them getting $1 million for winning the skills competition. He was pulling off some insane moves. Super cool. I like the idea. And then also on Saturday night, they do 4 teams and they go 2 semifinals with the chance to then play a final match. Quicker games. I love it. Austin Matthews and his team shine bright. He had 2 goals in the finale, and it never hurts having Tate McRae in your NHL All-Star game. Back to the NCAA for a little bit. We had a big breaking news when the SEC and Big Ten combined to help form a alliance to help come over to good decision-making or big decisions to be made involving player safety, the NLI, everything like that. They've been saying that the SEC commissioner is actually the most powerful commissioner of all the Power 5 schools. He would be the future NCAA commissioner. If the NCAA ever figures it out, it's really a bad look for the rest of the NCAA because the SEC and Big Ten, they're really going to be the main 2 with all these teams changing, with Texas and Oklahoma going into the SEC, with a lot of the Pac-12 going into the Big Ten. These 2 conferences have the most power. Now they've formed an alliance to generate and control the majority of decision-making. It's not a great look for the NCAA. The true NCAA remains with the D3 boys, how we had it back. Other than that, it's really, really getting tough to see how the NCAA is going to be able to put their foot down in this. We also had some coaches getting hired this week and some coaches not get hired. We'll start in Seattle. The ding-dong, the bad man is gone. Mike McDonald is out of Baltimore. Thank goodness for the Bengals' sake. He always dominates Joe Burrow and creates great game plans. The defense did well even in the AFC Championship. He is headed to the West Coast for Seattle. He's got some great young talent there. Tariq Woolen, lots of other young defenders. That's going to be a great opportunity for him to go out there and thrive. I think they're just a quarterback away. If he can find a good offensive coordinator, that'd be super helpful as well. He's also bringing a Harborough to his staff, which is a good thing. And also, we had Dan Quinn get hired by the Commanders. A rather surprising one. It looked like Ben Johnson was going to be there. Looked like they were going for the bigger hire, and then they bring in the mature Dan Quinn. If you remember, he was in Seattle for a while, helped win a Super Bowl with them as a defensive coordinator, also lost Super Bowl, and then, of course, was the head coach for the Atlanta Falcons during the giant 28-3 debacle that happened against the New England Patriots. I think it's going to be an interesting hire. I don't love what Dan Quinn was doing at the end. I don't know how much control he's going to have with the defense. He definitely has the right attitude. He knows how to manage people. He helped the Atlanta Falcons be the best they've been in the past decade or so. He did have Kyle Shanahan on that staff, so he hired Cliff Kingsbury to be his Kyle Shanahan. Let's see if he can have that option. I like the Cliff addition for Washington. It was weird that he went to Vegas for a quick stint. I guess he wanted a longer contract, and Vegas wasn't willing to offer 3 years, only 2, and he wanted 3. So he went to Washington. You could say Cliff is tough with struggles with managing players, but I think he is the right guy to have run an offense. He coached Caleb Williams in college, let the conspiracy theory start. I don't know if the Bears are willing to trade the number 1 pick, but it definitely looks like a nice connection for them. I don't know if they want to go Drake May and get another UNC quarterback. It only worked so well the first time. With Sam Howell, I'm a little concerned with that, but there's talk also that Drake May move down the draft chart, so we will see what ends up happening there. In other coaching news, the offensive coordinators, we had Mr. Ben Johnson stay back in Detroit. There's a lot of weird rumors. He told the Commanders halfway, while his agent said at the same time they were on the plane flying to Detroit to interview me. He's like, nope, I don't want to be here. I don't want to do the interview. He also said the same thing to Seattle. Then some stuff dropped where they didn't think Ben Johnson was very comfortable interviewing. He was asking too much. And Ben Johnson said he just wanted to stay and win where he could. Definitely a lot of weird little pieces to this one. Kind of confusing to sort it all out. Basically, it's a he said, she said kind of philosophy or kind of interaction which happened. The Commanders believe he kind of left them high and dry. And Ben Johnson believes that they weren't trusting in what he had for abilities. But it's getting kind of interesting here. Will Ben Johnson be available the next hiring cycle? You see Eric Bieniemy now. He's fallen off after he was the hot name for a few years. Is Ben Johnson missing his chance? I don't know. I don't know if these other teams are going to trust him in the future. He was a very hot topic the past 2 years, but we'll see if it continues for a third. If not, it's still a big win for Detroit. Also, we had Bobby Slowick. He stayed in Texas with the Houston Texans, which is a great thing for CJ Stroud. He got a pay raise. I think he's 1 year behind Ben Johnson, so I guess he'll be trying to get a chance next year at a head coaching job, but I think it's a really big get for CJ Stroud. Also, we had Arthur Smith go to Pittsburgh. We'll see how that works out for them. I'm half and half on it. He obviously knows how to use his tight end, so Pat Freiermuth is ready, and he loves to run the football, but we'll see. Apparently Le'Veon Bell wants to go back to Pittsburgh. Maybe he will get him going as well. And last but not least, we had some New England drama this week. We had Tom Brady Sr. talking about Bill Belichick, how he's not surprised he didn't get a new job because of his grouchy mindset has worn itself out, which obviously is something to be said and something that we've seen a little bit. He does not have a job, but Roger Goodell did back Bill Belichick and say that he believes he's going to be somewhere around the league. But the longer Bill gets away from Brady, the worse it looks for him. And then you also had the Mac Jones comments, where apparently Mac was told to not coach or help with Bailey Zappi at the end of the year, which is insane. They just wanted him out of the window, out of the meeting room, out of everything. They just threw him to the side. Not a great look for Mac, not a great look for the Patriots. They're going to need to get him out of the building, I think, with the new coach. And it's going to, with Gerard Mayo, it's going to be interesting to see. They didn't retain Steve Belichick. They're trying to clean house to a certain extent, even though they got Bill Jr. in there. It'll be interesting to see if New England can turn this around, because right now they're standing at the third best quarterback in the draft, which is always a coin flip, and they're looking at having some toxic energy in that room. That's it for Goodies Grade 8 this week. We'll see you back next week. Have a good one.